The mining drill hit something hard beneath the lunar surface. Lieutenant Katie Brooks stopped the machine and called over the intercom. "Commander Carter, we found something down here." "It's not rock." Commander Alex Carter floated down through the artificial gravity field, his enhanced body moving with perfect grace. His cybernetic eyes scanned the object they had uncovered. It was metal, old, and covered in dust from 2 centuries of waiting. "Looks like an old human facility," Carter said. His voice was calm and measured, enhanced vocal cords giving him perfect pitch control. Probably from before the enhancement wars. Dr. Elena Rodriguez joined them at the dig site. Her modified fingers ran over the metal surface, reading temperature and composition through her skin sensors. This predates the Galactic Council by at least 200 years. The metal composition matches early human space construction. The alien scientist Zethkar approached on his 6 legs. His species had been studying humanity for decades, fascinated by how much humans had changed since joining the galactic community. Most interesting. Pre-enhancement humans were quite different from current specimens. Brooks used her enhanced strength to pull away more debris. Beneath the metal covering, they found a doorway sealed with ancient locks. The facility was bigger than they first thought, extending deep into the moon's crust. "Should we report this to the Council?" Carter asked. Protocol demanded that all discoveries be shared with their alien partners. "Let's see what we're dealing with first," Rodriguez said. She had always been curious about what humans were like before the enhancements. The history book said very little about the old days. They cut through the sealed door with plasma torches. The facility beyond was dark and cold, but their enhanced vision could see clearly. The walls were covered in warning signs written in Old English, languages that few humans could read anymore. "Warning, cryogenic storage facility," Brooks read slowly. "Authorized personnel only." They moved deeper into the facility, their enhanced bodies needing no protection from the cold vacuum. The main chamber held dozens of cryopods, most of them dark and empty. But one pod in the center still showed active readings. "There's someone in there," Rodriguez said, her instruments detecting life signs. "The pod is still working after all these years." Zethkar's alien features showed excitement. "A pre-enhancement human in perfect preservation. This could teach us much about your species' development." Carter looked uncertain. "The Council has rules about awakening ancient specimens. We should ask permission first." "By the time we get permission, the pod might fail," Rodriguez argued. "These old systems weren't built to last forever. If we're going to save whoever is inside, we need to act now." She began connecting her equipment to the ancient cryopod. The technology was primitive by current standards, but it had done its job for over 2 centuries. Inside the pod, they could see a man's face through the frost-covered glass. "He looks so different," Brooks whispered. Where modern humans were tall and thin with pale skin from spending most of their time in space, this man was shorter and more muscular. His skin was darker, suggesting he had spent time under natural sunlight. Rodriguez began the revival process carefully. The old pod systems were simple but effective. Gradually, the temperature began to rise, and the preserving chemicals were filtered out of the man's blood. "His body is responding well," she reported. "Muscle mass is extraordinary for a human. Bone density is 3 times normal levels." "Normal for us," Carter corrected. "Remember, pre-enhancement humans were built for high-gravity environments." The man's eyes opened slowly. They were brown, a color rarely seen in modern humans whose eyes had been enhanced to see across multiple light spectrums. He blinked several times, confusion clear on his face. "Where am I?" he asked. His voice was deeper and rougher than any human voice they had heard. Modern humans had their vocal cords enhanced for perfect communication, but this man's voice carried raw emotion. "You're safe," Rodriguez said gently. "My name is Dr. Elena Rodriguez. You've been in cryosleep for a very long time." The man tried to sit up, moving with surprising speed. His muscles responded instantly, while enhanced humans needed time for their systems to coordinate movement. "How long?" "About 200 years, Rodriguez answered. "What's your name?" Jack Morrison. Captain Jack Morrison, United States Marine Corps. He looked around the chamber, taking in their enhanced features and the alien presence of Zethkar. What happened to everyone? Where is Earth? Earth is fine, Carter said, his enhanced mind already calculating the implications of this discovery. But humanity has changed significantly since your time. We've been enhanced to better survive in space and work with our galactic partners. Morrison's eyes focused on Zethkar. Galactic partners? We joined the Galactic Council shortly after your time period, Rodriguez explained. The Council helped us enhance our bodies to be better suited for space travel and cooperation with other species? Morrison stood up from the cryopod, and they were all surprised by his natural grace. Enhanced humans needed computer assistance to coordinate their movements, but Morrison moved like a natural athlete. His body was compact and powerful, built for Earth's gravity. You're all so tall, Morrison observed, and pale. What kind of enhancements are we talking about? Genetic modification to increase height and reduce muscle mass for space efficiency, Carter explained. Cybernetic implants for better communication and coordination. Mental conditioning to reduce aggressive tendencies and improve cooperation. Morrison's face showed confusion and concern. You made yourselves weaker? We made ourselves better suited for our environment, Carter corrected. Enhanced humans live longer, think clearer, and work better with our council partners. But you can barely move without computer help, Morrison pointed out. He had noticed how Carter paused before each movement, waiting for his systems to coordinate. And you're all skin and bones. Brooks touched her arm self-consciously. By enhanced human standards, she was perfectly healthy, but Morrison was right. That she looked fragile compared to him. We should run some tests, Rodriguez said quickly, sensing tension building. Captain Morrison, we'd like to study your physiology if you don't mind, for scientific purposes. Morrison agreed, still trying to understand what had happened to his species. As they ran basic physical tests, the results amazed everyone except Morrison himself. He could lift weights that would require mechanical assistance for enhanced humans. His reflexes were so fast that their instruments had trouble measuring them. His endurance seemed limitless, while enhanced humans tired quickly without their assistance systems. How is this possible? Brooks asked. The Council taught us that enhancement was necessary because baseline humans were too weak for space. Zethkar's alien features showed what might have been worry. Perhaps we should contact the Council immediately. They will want to know about this discovery. Let's finish our initial assessment first, Rodriguez suggested. She was fascinated by Morrison's capabilities and wanted to understand them better. Morrison had been listening to their conversation with growing concern. This council of yours, they're the ones who convinced humanity to enhance themselves? They offered us membership in the galactic community, Carter explained. Enhancement was required for citizenship. It made us better. Better at what? Morrison asked. You can't fight. You can't work with your hands. You get tired after walking a few minutes. What exactly did you gain? The question hung in the air. None of them had ever thought to ask it before. Enhancement had always been presented as obviously beneficial, but Morrison's presence made them question assumptions they had never examined. We gained peace, Carter said finally. Enhanced humans don't fight wars anymore. We work together harmoniously. Morrison looked around at their pale, thin bodies and their dependence on technology for basic functions. And what did you lose? The question would haunt them all in the days to come. 3 days after his awakening, Jack Morrison sat in the ship's cafeteria eating his third meal of the day. The enhanced humans around him picked at small portions of nutrient paste, their modified digestive systems requiring very little food. Morrison had asked for real food and been told that only he could digest the proteins and fats he requested. You eat like a machine, Lieutenant Katie Brooks said, watching him consume what would feed 3 enhanced humans. Her pale features showed amazement rather than disgust. I eat like a human, Morrison replied between bites. This is how people used to eat before your enhancements. Dr. Rodriguez approached their table with a tablet full of test results. Jack, your metabolic rate is incredible. Your body burns energy at 5 times the rate of enhanced humans. That's why you need so much food. And why I can do so much more with it, Morrison said. He had noticed how the enhanced humans moved slowly and carefully, always conserving energy. You've turned yourselves into energy-saving devices. Commander Carter joined them at the table. His enhanced features showed the strain of processing information that came naturally to Morrison. The Council wants to meet you. They're very interested in your capabilities. I bet they are, Morrison said. He had been thinking about the Council's role in humanity's enhancement. Tell me something, Commander. Before the enhancements, did humans ever win wars? Carter's cybernetic implants flickered as he accessed historical data. Historical records show that pre-enhancement humans were quite aggressive. They fought many wars against each other. That's not what I asked. Did we win them? Well, yes. Humans had a very high success rate in military conflicts, Morrison nodded. And now we don't fight wars at all. The Council maintains peace throughout the galaxy. Because you can't fight them even if you wanted to, Morrison observed. You've been bred to be peaceful and weak. Brooks looked uncomfortable. We're not weak. We're evolved. We use our minds instead of our muscles. Sure. Me, Morrison said. He stood up and walked to the wall where maintenance panels were installed. One of these panels is loose. The ship's AI has been reporting it as a minor issue for weeks. Fix it, Rodriguez checked her tablet. He's right. Panel 7 has been registering minor movement. We've been waiting for the maintenance robots to schedule a repair. Morrison walked to panel 7 and pressed his hands against it. The metal panel was indeed loose, held by bolts that had worked free over time. He gripped the edges and simply pushed. The panel bent back into place with a sharp snap. There, he said. Fixed. The enhanced human stared at him. Brooks approached the panel and tried to push it the same way. Even with her enhanced coordination helping her find the best angle, she couldn't budge the metal. The maintenance report says that panel requires hydraulic tools to repair, Carter said, checking. His implants. No human should be able to bend metal like that. No enhanced human, Morrison corrected. I'm not enhanced, I'm just human. An alarm suddenly rang through the ship. The artificial gravity fluctuated, causing the enhanced humans to struggle with their balance. Morrison remained steady, his natural reflexes adjusting automatically. Emergency in Engine Room 2, the ship's AI announced. Cooling system failure. All personnel to emergency stations. The enhanced humans began moving toward the emergency stations, their movements slow and deliberate as their implants calculated the best responses. Morrison was already running toward the engine room. Wait, Carter called after him. You don't have clearance for that section. Morrison ignored him and kept running. His natural speed was startling compared to the enhanced human's careful pace. He reached the engine room first, finding it filled with steam from the failed cooling system. The enhanced humans arrived several minutes later. Their breathing labored from the run. They put on protective suits before entering the steam-filled room. Morrison had already gone inside without protection. Jack, get out of there, Rodriguez shouted. The steam will burn your skin. Morrison's voice came from inside the engine room. I'm fine. The cooling pipe has a crack in it. I can see the problem. The repair robots are on their way, Carter said. Just wait for them. The robots won't get here for 20 minutes, Morrison replied. By then, the engine core will overheat, we'll lose power. Through the steam, they could see Morrison working on the pipe. He had removed his shirt and was using it to protect his hands while he worked. His skin was red from the heat, but he seemed unaffected by what would disable an enhanced human. What are you doing? Brooks asked. Temporary patch, Morrison said. I'm wrapping the crack with metal wire from the maintenance kit. It won't last forever, but it'll hold until the robots get here. 10 minutes later, the steam stopped. The cooling system was working again. Morrison emerged from the engine room. His skin burned, but his expression satisfied. How did you do that? Rodriguez asked, scanning him with her medical instruments. The temperature in there was over 50 degrees Celsius. Enhanced humans can't function in that environment. I noticed, Morrison said. Good thing I'm not enhanced. Over the following days, Morrison continued to demonstrate capabilities that amazed the crew. He could carry equipment that required mechanical assistance for enhanced humans. He could work for hours without rest while they needed frequent breaks. His reflexes were so fast that he could catch falling objects before enhanced humans even saw them drop. Brooks started spending more time with Morrison, fascinated by his natural abilities. Could you teach me to move like that? She asked one day. Maybe, Morrison said. But your enhancements might get in the way. They're designed to make you move in specific patterns. What if I turn them off? Can you do that? Brooks looked uncertain. I don't know. I've never tried. Morrison studied her pale, thin frame. When was the last time you felt hungry? Really hungry? Not just time to eat hungry? I don't remember, Brooks admitted. Enhanced humans don't experience hunger the same way. When was the last time you felt really angry or really scared? Brooks thought for a long moment. I don't think I ever have. The mental conditioning prevents extreme emotions. And when was the last time you felt really strong? Like you could take on the world? Never, Brooks said quietly. Enhanced humans don't feel things like that. Morrison nodded sadly. They didn't just change your bodies. They changed your minds too. They made you content with being weak. That evening, Morrison overheard Zethkar talking with other alien scientists through a communication device. The alien thought Morrison was asleep, but his natural hearing was much sharper than enhanced human senses. The specimen is more dangerous than we calculated, Zethkar was saying. Pre-enhancement humans were significantly more capable than our models predicted. How much more capable? Another voice asked. This individual demonstrates physical capabilities that exceed our initial suppression requirements. If other pre-enhancement humans were similar, we may have underestimated the threat they posed. What do you recommend? Immediate termination of the specimen and a full review of our enhancement protocols. We may need to increase the suppression factors for future generations. Morrison lay still, pretending to sleep while listening to the conversation. The aliens were talking about humanity like livestock that needed to be managed. The enhancements weren't improvements at all. They were control mechanisms. The next morning, Morrison found Dr. Rodriguez working alone in her laboratory. Elena, I need to ask you something important. Of course, Jack, what is it? When the Council offered enhancements to humanity, did they explain why they were necessary? Rodriguez paused in her work. They said that baseline humans were too aggressive and unpredictable for galactic society. Enhancement was required to make us compatible with other species. Compatible how? Well, we needed to be less violent, less competitive, more cooperative. Morrison nodded. And physically weaker? They said that enhanced strength wasn't needed in space environments. Better to be efficient than powerful. Elena, what if I told you that the Council was lying? What if they enhanced humans not to help them, but to control them? Rodriguez's enhanced features showed confusion. That doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? Because they were afraid of what humans could do, Morrison said. Think about it. You've seen what one unenhanced human can accomplish. Now imagine billions of us working together with our natural aggression and strength intact. Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. Even if that were true, what could we do about it? Enhanced humans are what we are now. We can't change back. Maybe you can't, Morrison said. But there are other humans like me still frozen in facilities around the galaxy. What if we woke them up? The Council would never allow it. Morrison smiled, and for the first time, Rodriguez saw something dangerous in his expression. The Council doesn't get to decide what humans do, not anymore? That night, Morrison began making plans. He had learned enough about the ship's systems to understand its weaknesses. He had seen how dependent the enhanced humans were on their technology and alien oversight, but most importantly, he had seen the doubt in their eyes when they looked at him. Deep down, they were starting to remember what they had lost. The revolution was about to begin. Morrison spent the next week exploring the ship when the crew thought he was sleeping. His natural stealth abilities allowed him to move through the corridors without triggering the sensors designed to track enhanced humans. Their modified bodies gave off different heat signatures and electrical patterns that the ship's systems expected. In the ship's data storage area, Morrison found historical records that the crew had never bothered to read. Enhanced humans relied on their implants to feed them information, but Morrison read the old files with his own eyes. What he found made his blood run cold. The records showed that before the enhancements, humans had been expanding rapidly through space. They had colonized dozens of worlds and were building a powerful military force. Then suddenly everything changed. The Galactic Council appeared and offered humanity a partnership, but the partnership came with conditions. Humans had to be enhanced to join galactic society. The records showed that many humans had refused, but those who accepted the enhancements became the leaders of the new human government. Within 50 years, all of humanity had been enhanced. Morrison found medical records from the early enhancement period. The procedures didn't just change human bodies. They changed human minds, making people more obedient and less likely to question authority. The enhancements also made humans physically dependent on regular treatments that only the Council could provide. They turned us into slaves, Morrison whispered to himself as he read through the files. And they made us grateful for it. The next morning, Morrison approached Dr. Rodriguez in her laboratory. "Elena, I need to show you something." "What is it, Jack?" Morrison had printed out some of the historical records on old-fashioned paper. Enhanced humans rarely used physical documents, preferring digital displays that could be controlled by their implants. "Read this." Rodriguez took the papers and began reading. Her enhanced eyes could process the information quickly, but Morrison watched her expression change as she understood what she was seeing. "This can't be right," she said. "The Council saved humanity from destroying itself." "Keep reading," Morrison said. Rodriguez continued through the documents. She found records of human colonies that had been destroyed after refusing enhancement. She found communications between Council members discussing how to make humans more controllable. She found medical reports showing that enhanced humans would die without regular treatments. "We're not enhanced," she said quietly. "We're prisoners." "Now you're getting it?" Morrison said. "The question is, what are we going to do about it?" Rodriguez looked at the papers in her hands. "We can't fight the Council. They control everything. They have weapons we can't imagine." "They have weapons that enhanced humans can't use," Morrison corrected, "but I'm not enhanced." Over the next few days, Morrison began sharing the truth with other crew members. He started with Lieutenant Brooks, who had been asking questions about her own abilities. "Katie, remember when you asked if you could turn off your enhancements?" Morrison said. "I found out why you've never tried." "Why?" "Because if you turn them off, you'll die. The enhancements aren't additions to your body. They're replacements for parts of your body that were removed." Brooks touched her chest where her artificial heart regulated her blood flow. "What do you mean?" "Your heart, your lungs, your digestive system. They've all been replaced with artificial parts that need regular maintenance. Turn off the enhancements and your body shuts down." Brooks sat down heavily. "So we can never be free." "You can't go back to being natural humans," Morrison agreed. "But you can still choose to be free humans. You don't have to obey the Council just because they control your bodies." Morrison continued recruiting crew members one by one. He showed them the historical records and explained what the Council had done to humanity. Some refused to believe him, but others began to understand. Commander Carter was the hardest to convince. His military training made him loyal to the chain of command, and the Council was at the top of that chain. "Even if what you're saying is true," Carter said, "what choice do we have? We can't survive without the Council's support." "We can fight," Morrison said. "We can show other humans the truth. We can find ways to break free from the Council's control." "With what army?" Carter asked. "Enhanced humans can't fight." "We're not built for it." "Then we wake up humans who are built for it," Morrison said. "There are thousands of cryo facilities, like the one where you found me. Thousands of natural humans waiting to be awakened. Meanwhile, Zethkar had been watching Morrison's activities with growing alarm. The alien scientists had been reporting to the Council about Morrison's capabilities, and their response was clear: eliminate the threat. Zethkar approached Morrison one evening when he was alone in the observation deck. Captain Morrison, I have a proposal for you. I'm listening, Morrison said, though he kept his distance from the alien. The Council is prepared to offer you a position as a historical consultant. You would be well compensated, and you would be allowed to live freely on any world you choose. In exchange for what? You would stop spreading dangerous ideas among the crew. You would accept enhancement procedures to make you compatible with galactic society. And you would help us locate and secure other cryo facilities to prevent dangerous individuals from being awakened. Morrison smiled coldly. You want me to help you keep humanity enslaved? I want to help you understand that cooperation is better than conflict, Zethkar said. The Council has managed galactic peace for centuries. Humans are safer and happier as enhanced beings than they ever were as natural ones. Safer for who? Morrison asked. Safer for the Council, you mean? They're terrified of what natural humans can do, with good reason, Zethkar said. Your species was expanding too quickly, growing too powerful. Left unchecked, humans would have dominated the galaxy within a few centuries. And that scared you. It scared everyone. Human aggression and adaptability made them the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever seen. Enhancement was the only way to prevent a galactic war, Morrison nodded slowly. So you turned us into pets instead of equals. We turned you into citizens instead of conquerors, Zethkar corrected. The current system works. Humans are productive members of galactic society, productive slaves, Morrison said, but still slaves. Zethkar's alien features showed frustration. You cannot fight the entire galaxy, Captain Morrison. Even if you were to awaken every frozen human, there are trillions of Council citizens. You would be outnumbered millions to one. Maybe, Morrison said, but I wouldn't be alone, and I wouldn't be weak. That night, Morrison gathered his small group of converts in the storage bay: Dr. Rodriguez, Lieutenant Brooks, and 3 other crew members who had learned the truth about their condition. The Council knows we're on to them, Morrison said. Zethkar tried to bribe me today. When that fails, they'll try to eliminate us. What do you want us to do? Rodriguez asked. We're going to take control of this ship, Morrison said. Then we're going to use it to find other cryo facilities and wake up more natural humans. The ship's AI won't allow a mutiny, Brooks pointed out. It's programmed to obey Council directives. The AI is programmed to obey enhanced humans, Morrison corrected. I'm not enhanced. I might be able to override its commands. Commander Carter, who had been listening from the doorway, stepped into the storage bay. This is mutiny, he said. I should arrest all of you, but you won't, Morrison said. Because you know we're right. Carter's enhanced features showed the internal conflict between his programming and his growing understanding of the truth. Even if we take the ship, where would we go? Every world in the galaxy is controlled by the Council. Then we'll find worlds that aren't, Morrison said, or we'll make our own. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. Jack, I've been thinking about what you said. About waking up more natural humans. I might be able to help with that. How? I've been studying your physiology for weeks. I understand how natural human bodies work. If we can find the right equipment, I might be able to reverse some of the enhancement procedures. You could turn enhanced humans back into natural ones, not completely. But I could remove some of the control mechanisms. Make them less dependent on Council treatments. Give them back some of their natural strength and emotions. Morrison felt hope for the first time since his awakening. How many people would we need to start a real resistance? A few hundred natural. Humans could train thousands of partially reversed enhanced humans, Rodriguez said. If we could coordinate with other resistance cells, we might have a chance. There are other resistance cells? Brooks asked. There will be, Morrison said. Once word spreads about what we've learned, other humans will start asking questions. Other enhanced humans will start remembering what they've lost. Commander Carter made his decision. "I'm in," he said. "God help me, I'm in." Outside the storage bay, Zethkar listened to their conversation through the ship's surveillance system. The alien scientists' worst fears were coming true. The humans were organizing, planning, preparing to fight back. He activated his emergency communicator and sent a message to the council. Immediate termination required. The infection is spreading. The message was received and the council's response was swift and decisive. The alarm woke Morrison from a light sleep. His natural senses told him this wasn't a drill. The ship was moving faster than usual, and there were new vibrations in the hull that meant other ships were nearby. "All crew to stations," the ships. AI announced, "Council security fleet approaching. Prepare for inspection." Morrison rolled out of his bunk and quickly dressed. Through the small window in his quarters, he could see the dark shapes of warships surrounding their research vessel. The council had come for him. He made his way to the storage bay where his allies were already gathering. Dr. Rodriguez looked nervous, her enhanced features pale with worry. Lieutenant Brooks was checking her equipment while Commander Carter studied tactical displays on his tablet. "How many ships?" Morrison asked. 12 warships, Carter replied. "Enough firepower to destroy a small planet. They're not taking any chances." "Good," Morrison said. "That means they're scared." Zethkar's voice came over the intercom. "Captain Morrison, please report to the main deck. The council wishes to speak with you." Morrison ignored the summons. Instead, he turned to his small group of followers. "Elena, how long would it take you to send our message to every human ship in this sector?" "About 10 minutes if I can access the main communication array," Rodriguez said. "But the moment I start transmitting, they'll cut our power." "Katie, can you get her to the communication center?" Brooks nodded. "The maintenance shafts run right past the security sensors. I can get her there without being detected." "Do it," Morrison ordered. "Send everything we've learned about the enhancements and the Council's lies. Make sure every human in the galaxy knows the truth." "What about the warships?" Carter asked. "They'll destroy us the moment we start transmitting." Morrison smiled grimly. "Let me worry about the warships." 20 minutes later, Zethkar arrived at the storage bay with a squad of Council security robots. The alien scientist's multiple eyes showed anger and frustration. "Captain Morrison, you have ignored 3 direct orders to surrender yourself. This defiance will not be tolerated." "I don't take orders from slavers," Morrison replied. The security robots raised their weapons, but Morrison was already moving. His natural reflexes allowed him to dodge their energy blasts while closing the distance between them. Enhanced humans couldn't move fast enough to avoid the robots' targeting systems. But Morrison wasn't enhanced. He grabbed the nearest robot and used it as a shield while he tore into its companions. The machines were designed to handle enhanced humans who moved predictably and slowly. Morrison's speed and aggression overwhelmed their programming. Within seconds, all 6 robots were scrap metal. Zethkar backed away in terror. "Impossible," the alien whispered. "No human should be able to move that fast." "No enhanced human," Morrison corrected. "I'm the real thing." Commander Carter stared at the destroyed robots. "Jack, how did you do?" "That? Those machines are military grade?" "Practice," Morrison said. 200 years ago, humans fought wars against machines. We got good at it." An explosion rocked the ship. Through the hull, they could see energy beams from the Council warships, striking their vessel. The ship's shields were holding, but not for long. "They're trying to disable our engines," Carter reported. "They want to board us," Morrison nodded. "Good, let them come." Dr. Rodriguez's voice came over the intercom. "Jack, I've sent the message. Every human ship within 50 light years is receiving our data about the enhancements. How are they responding?" Morrison asked. "Confusion at first, then anger. Some ships are demanding answers from their Council liaisons. Others are already moving to join us." Another explosion shook the ship. This time, the lights flickered as the power system strained. "Boarding pods incoming," Carter announced. 60 Council troops heading for our main airlocks. Morrison picked up weapons from the destroyed security robots. The energy rifles were designed for enhanced human hands, but he could adapt. How many crew members have joined us? About half the ship, Brooks reported. The others are hiding in their quarters. That'll have to do, Morrison said. Elena, can you access the ship's environmental controls? Yes, why? Turn off the artificial gravity in sections 7 through 12, and pump those areas full of steam from the heating system. Rodriguez looked confused but followed his orders. Within minutes, the specified sections of the ship were filled with hot steam and floating debris, the first boarding pod attached to the ship with a metallic clang. Council troops began cutting through the airlock doors. They were expecting to face enhanced humans who would surrender quickly or fight with careful, coordinated tactics. Instead, they found Morrison waiting for them in a cloud of steam. The Council troops wore environmental suits and carried advanced weapons. Their enhanced vision and targeting systems should have given them every advantage. But their equipment was designed to track enhanced humans with their predictable heat signatures and movement patterns. Morrison moved through the steam like a ghost. His natural human vision could penetrate the fog better than their artificial sensors. His natural reflexes let him strike before their targeting computers could lock onto him. The first squad of Council troops was eliminated before they understood what had happened. The second squad found their companion's bodies floating in the zero gravity, but no sign of their attacker. Report, came a voice over their communication system. Squad 2, what is your status? We found Squad 1, came the nervous reply. They're all dead. Something is hunting us in here. Morrison struck again, appearing from the steam to drag another soldier into the darkness. The Council troops began firing wildly, their discipline breaking down as their enhanced minds couldn't process this kind of warfare. Enhanced humans fought clean, technological battles with rules and predictable outcomes. Morrison was fighting like a natural human, using stealth, brutality, and psychological warfare. Within an hour, 3 boarding pods worth of Council troops had been eliminated. The remaining forces refused to enter the ship, reporting to their commanders that they were facing an unknown alien predator. Meanwhile, Dr. Rodriguez had been busy in her laboratory, using equipment salvaged from the ship's medical bay. She had developed a process to partially reverse some enhancement procedures. I can't turn enhanced humans back into natural ones, she explained to Morrison as he returned from the battle. But I can remove some of the control implants and strengthen their natural immune systems. How many people can you treat? Maybe 20 per day with this equipment. It's not fast, but it's a start. Lieutenant Brooks was the first to volunteer for the procedure. The process took 3 hours, during which Rodriguez carefully removed several implants and modified others. When Brooks woke up, she looked different. Her skin had more color, her eyes were brighter, and she moved with less mechanical precision. How do you feel? Morrison asked. Brooks stretched her arms and smiled. Hungry, she said. Really hungry for the first time in my life. And angry. I'm so angry at what they did to us. Good, Morrison said. Anger will keep you alive. The ship's communication system crackled with incoming messages. Human vessels throughout the sector were reporting similar awakenings. Enhanced humans who had received Rodriguez's message were beginning to question their conditioning. Some were rebelling against their council overseers. It's working, Rodriguez said, monitoring the communications. The message is spreading faster than the council can stop it. But the council wasn't giving up. More battle fleets were converging on their location, and orbital bombardment platforms were being moved into position. They're going to destroy this entire system, Carter warned. Every human ship here will be eliminated. Morrison studied the tactical displays. How many human ships are in this sector? About 300. Mostly civilian transports and research vessels. And how many have weapons? None. Enhanced humans aren't allowed military equipment. Morrison thought for a moment. Elena, how long would it take to modify civilian ships for combat? Impossible, Carter said. Civilian ships don't have the structural integrity for military operations? Enhanced humans don't, Morrison corrected. But natural humans used? To fight wars in whatever ships they could find. We made cargo haulers into battleships and passenger liners into carriers. Rodriguez looked at the schematics Morrison was studying. You want to turn the entire civilian fleet into a navy? Why not? The Council thinks enhanced humans are helpless without proper equipment. Let's show them what humans can do when they stop thinking like victims. Over the next 6 hours, Morrison coordinated the transformation of 300 civilian vessels into an improvised battle fleet. Enhanced humans who had received the reversal treatment began remembering skills their conditioning had suppressed. They welded armor plating onto cargo ships, mounted mining lasers as weapons, and rigged passenger liners to carry fighters. The Council commanders watched in amazement as the human fleet prepared for battle. Their computers couldn't understand what was happening. Enhanced humans weren't supposed to be capable of this kind of innovation. Sir, a Council officer reported, the human vessels are not following any known tactical doctrine. Then predict. Their movements based on enhanced human psychology, the commander ordered. That's just it, sir. They're not acting like enhanced humans anymore. They're acting like something else. The Council's main battle fleet arrived 3 days later. 500 warships surrounded the human liberation fleet, their weapons trained on Morrison's improvised navy. The odds were hopeless by any reasonable calculation, Morrison stood on. The bridge of his flagship, a converted cargo hauler that had been renamed the Freedom. Around him, enhanced humans who had undergone Rodriguez's reversal treatment worked alongside the few natural humans they had awakened from other cryo facilities. They're demanding our surrender, Lieutenant Brooks reported. Her voice was stronger now, filled with emotions that her enhancement conditioning had suppressed for years. Tell them we'll give them the same surrender they gave humanity 200 years ago, Morrison replied. Commander Carter studied the tactical displays with new eyes. The reversal treatment had removed some of his strategic conditioning, allowing him to think beyond standard Council military doctrine. Jack, their ships are more advanced than ours, better shields, better weapons, better everything. Better. For fighting enhanced humans, Morrison said. But we're not enhanced anymore. Dr. Rodriguez had been working around the clock to treat more humans with her reversal process. Ships throughout the fleet now carried humans who were remembering what their species had once been capable of. The change was spreading faster than anyone had expected. How many ships do we have now? Morrison asked. 800 and growing, Brooks answered. More human vessels are joining us every hour, and we're getting reports of uprisings on human colonies throughout the galaxy, Morrison nodded. The truth about the enhancements was spreading through human space like wildfire. Enhanced humans were discovering that their improvements were actually chains, and they were choosing freedom even if it meant death. The Council commander, Admiral Kethel, opened a communication channel to Morrison's ship. The alien's multiple arms gestured in what might have been frustration. Captain Morrison, you are forcing us to destroy thousands of innocent humans. Surrender now, and we will limit the executions to your immediate followers. Admiral, Morrison replied, you've been destroying humans for 2 centuries. The only difference now is that we're fighting back. You cannot win this battle. Our ships outnumber yours, and our technology is superior. Your ships are designed to fight enhanced humans who follow predictable patterns, Morrison said. We're not enhanced, and we're not predictable. Morrison cut the communication and turned to his crew. Begin Operation Wasp Nest. The human fleet suddenly scattered in all directions. Instead of forming the tight formations that Council doctrine expected, they spread out across the star system like a swarm of angry insects. Some ships dove toward the system's sun, using its radiation to mask their heat signatures. Others hid behind asteroids or space stations the Council fleet tried to pursue, but their ships were designed for organized warfare between disciplined fleets. They couldn't adapt quickly enough to chase hundreds of individual targets moving. In chaotic patterns, Morrison's ship led a group of 20 vessels straight at the Council flagship. The alien commanders watched in confusion as the humans approached on what appeared to be a suicide run. "They're going to rum us," Admiral Kethful's tactical officer reported. "Impossible. Enhanced humans would never sacrifice themselves so wastefully." "Sir, these aren't enhanced humans anymore." At the last moment, Morrison's group split apart and dove under the Council flagship. As they passed beneath the massive alien vessel, they released their cargo holds. Hundreds of small objects floated up toward the enemy ship. "What are those?" Kethful demanded. "Maintenance robots, sir." "But they've been modified somehow." The maintenance robots latched onto the Council flagship's hull and began cutting through the armor with their repair tools. Enhanced humans had always used these robots for simple maintenance tasks, but Morrison had turned them into weapons. While the flagship dealt with the robot attack, other human ships were implementing similar tactics throughout the fleet. Cargo. Haulers rammed Council vessels at high speed, their holds packed with explosives. Passenger liners launched shuttles loaded with armed humans who boarded enemy ships and fought with the brutal efficiency of natural human warriors. The Council forces had never faced anything like this. Their enhanced human enemies had always fought according to established rules and patterns. These humans fought like wild animals, using every advantage they could find and never giving up. Admiral Kethful watched his fleet being torn apart by an enemy that should have been helpless. "How are they doing this?" "The tactical computers can't predict their movements." "They're not following any known battle doctrine," his aide replied. "Every ship is acting independently, using improvised tactics. That should make them weaker." "Not stronger. Not if they're natural humans, sir." The historical records show that pre-enhancement humans excelled at individual initiative and adaptive thinking. Kethful's multiple eyes widened in understanding. "We're not fighting enhanced humans anymore. We're fighting the species that conquered half the galaxy before we stopped them." Morrison had boarded the Council flagship along with 50 other humans. They fought their way through corridors designed for enhanced humans who moved slowly and predictably. The ship's automated defenses couldn't track targets that moved with natural human speed and unpredictability. "Bridge is 3 levels. Up," Brooks called out as she took down 2 Council guards with her bare hands. The reversal treatment had given her back enough natural human strength to overpower aliens who had grown used to dealing with weakened, enhanced humans. They reached the bridge to find Admiral Kethful waiting with his remaining officers. The alien commander looked at Morrison with something that might have been respect. "So you are the human who started this rebellion," Kethful said. "You have doomed your entire species. Even if you win this battle, the Council will send more fleets. Billions of ships, trillions of soldiers." "Maybe," Morrison agreed, "but we won't be fighting them as slaves anymore. We'll be fighting them as humans." "Your species was enhanced for good reasons," Kethful insisted. "Natural humans were too. Dangerous, too aggressive, too unpredictable. You would have destroyed the galaxy, or liberated it," Morrison replied. "Guess we'll find out." The battle raged for 6 more hours. When it was over, 3/4 of the Council fleet had been destroyed or captured. The human liberation fleet had taken heavy losses, but they had won a victory that no one thought possible. But the real victory was happening throughout human space. The news of Morrison's triumph spread to every human world and station. Enhanced humans everywhere were demanding the reversal treatment. They were remembering what they had lost and choosing to reclaim it. Dr. Rodriguez had trained other doctors in the reversal process. Medical facilities on human worlds began performing the procedures despite Council prohibitions. Within weeks, millions of humans had undergone at least partial reversal of their enhancements. The Galactic Council tried to maintain control, but they faced a problem they had never encountered before. Enhanced humans were predictable and manageable. Natural humans were neither. Human colonies began declaring independence. Human ships stopped following Council shipping regulations. Human workers refused to perform tasks they considered beneath their dignity. The careful system of control that had kept humanity docile for 2 centuries was falling apart. Morrison established A new human government based on the principles that had guided humanity before the enhancements. Individual freedom, personal responsibility, and the right to determine one's own destiny. We have a choice to make, Morrison addressed the first assembly of free humans in 200 years. We can go back to the way things were, expanding through the galaxy and taking what we want. Or we can build something better. What do you suggest? Asked a representative from the outer colonies. We help other species break free from council control, Morrison said. Humans aren't the only ones who were enhanced into slavery. The council has been controlling development throughout the galaxy for thousands of years. The assembly voted unanimously to support liberation movements on other worlds. Human ships began carrying the reversal technology to alien species, who had been similarly modified and controlled. Admiral Kethvil, now a prisoner on Morrison's flagship, watched the humans coordinate with other resistance movements. You're going to destroy everything the council built. Yes, Morrison agreed. And we're going to build something better in its place. What if you fail? What if your natural aggression leads to galactic war? Morrison looked out at the stars where human ships were already carrying freedom to distant worlds. Then at least we'll fail as free beings, not as slaves who thought they were pets. 6 months later, Morrison stood in his private quarters aboard the Freedom. The ship had become the flagship of the Human Liberation Fleet, but Morrison was thinking about stepping down from command. Other natural humans had been awakened, and many of them were better suited to leadership in peacetime. Dr. Rodriguez entered his quarters carrying a medical scanner. Time for your monthly checkup, Jack? Morrison submitted to the scan, though. He felt better than he had in centuries. The stress of war seemed to agree with natural human physiology.